What's a song that has brought you to tears? Samson by Regina Spektor. Saturn, Sleeping at Last. One Summer Day, Spirited Away. One day I was driving and Simple Man came on and IDK, for some reason it just struck me extra hard that day. She Used to Be Mine * by Sarah Bareilles. A few weeks ago I had a dear friend sit me down and tell me that she remembers the old me. And if I wanted to leave my husband, she and my friends were there for me. This song hits a little too close to that nerve. Edit. Thank you for all the replies, well wishes and support. A little overwhelming for me to attract this much attention on Reddit for a comment that isn't a stupid joke, but I appreciate it all the same. Nothing's really black and white in life, and people are usually more complicated than victim and villain. But I am aware of how I want to lead my life going forward and what steps I'll take get there. The old me woke up and is getting ready to grab the wheel, metaphorically. Thanks again. You're good people XO. Deliver us from the Prince of Egypt. That sit gets me every time and I'm not a crier or get teary-eyed easily. Edit. Thanks for the love guys. Y'all are amazing with your comments. This film reminds me of my childhood. That whole soundtrack by Hans Zimmer and even the cast, it's gold. Gives me all the feels. Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers. My mom always said it made her think of her late mother. Now my mom's gone and I think of her. Moon River. I would sing it to my horse to calm him down. Last year he had complications from an emergency surgery and had to be euthanized. I sang it through the entire process so he wouldn't be scared. Especially when he collapsed. I have a horrible singing voice and I was crying the entire time, but I just didn't want him to be scared. ETA. Thank you all for the kind words and awards. There is a bit of a silver lining. Through a whole lot of overtime and pure luck, I was able to buy my late horse's nephew. I named him Silver Lining, and for some reason he calms down when I sing Moon River when he's scared. Old Man by Neil Young has a very special place in my heart. Dance with My Father, Luther Vandross. Rip Dad, love you so much. Lord Huron. The Night We Met. No Son of Mine. By Genesis, because my dad would play it really loud when he was mad at me. Remember Me. Watching Coco a month after my grandma died was a bad idea, and that Remember Me at the end was my breaking point. I Will Wait for You, Connie Francis. Damn you Futurama. The Show Must Go On, Queen. Brian didn't think Freddie could do it because he was so sick. Freddie took a shot of vodka and said, "All frockin', do it darling," and did it in one go. It always gives me chills. Rocky Mountain High by John Denver. It's a bit corny since I'm from Colorado, but this song just makes me so incredibly homesick in such a bittersweet way. John Denver was also one of my grandma's favorites. The Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding. Great song, but reminds me of my late uncle who loved it. It was played at his funeral. Songbird. Fleetwood Mac. Something to Be Proud of. I Believe by Montgomery Gentry. The only song I ever saw make my dad cry. Love of My Life. I saw a video of it where Brian was singing it and they put Freddie on a screen behind him. I cannot hear that song again. Leaves from the Vine. Radiohead, motion picture soundtrack. Into the West at the end of LOTR gets me every time. Like a Stone. Audioslave. After Chris Cornell died and I read what he meant with the lyrics, I teared up. The Luckiest by Ben Folds. The Book of Love. Peter Gabriel, particularly during the last scene in the Scrubs finale. U2. B. CTV Pot 82 Toy. Claire de Lune, Debussy. The End of the World's theme song. Edit. The first time one of my comments blow up. Thank you all. And thanks for that award. Chopin Nocturne Opus 9 No. 2. Louis Armstrong. What a Wonderful World. One of my sister's favorite songs. They played it at her funeral, and ever since then I've had to excuse myself from situations where it was playing because the tears just start automatically. You've Got a Friend in Me. After losing one of my best friends. When he died and I heard the song, I just broke down. I Will Follow You Into the Dark. Death Cab for Cutie. Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. Edit. The alternate version is great too. Instead of a guitar solo, it's a fiddle solo. Link. U2. B. 8SAF7F4 meters 2E. Kate Bush. This Woman's Work. Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush. Don't Give Up. Over the Rainbow. What a Wonderful World by Israel Kamakawiwo'ole. First time I heard it on radio I loved it, but when I downloaded and listened to it again I wound up sitting and crying for almost an hour with the song on repeat. I've never had that experience with any song in my life. It's the song I've asked to have played at my funeral when my time comes. Lazarus by David Bowie. In My Life by the Beatles is one of those songs I can't listen to, but is a great song start to finish. Nessun Dorma, just be quiet for a little bit and listen. Casimir Pulaski Day by Sufjan Stevens. Agnes, Glass Animals. Kettering, The Antlers. Asleep by the Smiths. The Nights by Avicii. My father was my hero. And he suffered dementia for the better part of a decade. He always pushed me to chase my dreams, even if it meant leaving him behind. And we spent so many nights while I was growing up just talking. For hours on end, he said, go venture far beyond the shores. Don't forsake this life of yours. I'll guide you home no matter where you are. One day my father, he told me, son, don't let it slip away. He took me in his arms. I heard him say, when you get older, your wild heart will live for younger days. Think of me if ever you're afraid. Auld Lang Syne. IDK I'm a teary-eyed breach. It brings back the memories. Black and Last Kiss by Pearl Jam are usually the ones that make me depressed. Edit. Jesus Christ. Thanks for the upvotes guys. Skinny Love by Bon Iver. Good News, Mac Miller. The lyrics felt like the farewell from him from Afterlife to his fans after his death. Don't Let Us Get Sick, by Warren Zevon. I am 65 and have lost too many friends over the years. Always makes me tear up. Vincent by Don McLean. Landslide. The Cure, Pictures of You. Goodbye by Cage the Elephant. Knowing the context of a song and also my eternal life crisis just put on a weight. Seasons in the Sun by Terry Jacks. Sweden, C418. Cough Syrup, Young the Giant. What Sarah Said by Death Cab for Cutie. Hear You Me, Jimmy Eat World. A song for a heart so big, God wouldn't let it live. That line and the music around it just get me in the heartstrings. Fast Car, Tracy Chapman. Somewhere Out There from American Tail. Second, Tell Laura I Love Her, and third, a hymn called Going Home, usually played at funerals. The lyrics. In the Living Years, Mike and the Mechanics. Dear Mama by Tupac. Little Talks of Monsters and Men. Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, but it's probably because it always reminds me of a girl I messed up with. Snow Patrol, Chasing Cars. Tears in Heaven, I tear up as soon as it starts. Mazzy Star, Into Dust. Mother Love by Queen. Vera Lynn, We'll Meet Again. Car Radio, 21 Pilots. Hallelujah by Jeff Buckley. Pictures of You, The Cure. Definitely my favorite song of all time. Reminds me of good and bad times. Anyone searching all of these songs obsessively because the need to cry is weirdly important right now? Leaves from the Vine. I Rose Tale, Rip Mako. One More Light, Linkin Park. Adam Song by Blink-182. I can't listen to it without crying. It instantly brings me back to being a suicidal teenager 20 years ago. Goodbye Blue Sky by Pink Floyd. Hurt, 9 Inch Nails. Emotional AF. Adam Song by Blink-182. Divinity, Porter Robinson and Something Comforting by Porter Robinson. Edit. OMG, I'm so moved right now. I knew Porter Robinson had a good following, but I've never got so many likes on a post before. Thanks for sharing the love. Anyone going to his festival in SF? I know it's an edgy song, but Call Me When You're Sober, from Evanescence. My mother was an alcoholic and died last November, so always my random playlist brings this back. It hits me hard. Nights in White Satin, The Moody Blues, brought me to tears last night. Father and Son, Cat Stevens. Listened to it after learning about my granddad's cancer diagnosis, and that song hits hard in that situation. Fix You and the Scientist, both Coldplay. Into the West from Lord of the Rings. If I'm alone when I listen to it, I'll be sobbing. Nirvana, You Know You're Right. Acoustic boombox version. This was recorded very close to Kurt's suicide, and you could just hear the pain in his voice when he belches out. It's another opiate, but to me it's everything. It still gives me chills every time. Puff the Magic Dragon. Poor Puff is always by Johnny's side. Then Johnny grows up and ditches Puff. What an arsehole. Edit. It should say Jackie, not Johnny. Tiny Dancer by Elton John. Gets me every time. Mama I'm Coming Home, Ozzy Osbourne. There's a long story behind this. Also, Runaway Train, Soul Asylum, goes along with the story. Glenn Campbell. I'm Not Gonna Miss You. It happens fairly frequently. Something I noticed is that it doesn't even need lyrics to affect me in that way. Certain instrumentals will trigger an emotional reaction from me and I don't really understand why. Shelter, Porter Robinson. The Living Years, Mike and the Mechanics. Future of Free by Frank Ocean. I just listened to Space Song from Beach House yesterday. From the Pedro Pascal memes. And honestly, no song has ever hit me that emotionally. It just put me in a really depressed spot and I just let out a lot of the tears I've been holding in for the past few years, from the times of losing all my friends to my extreme fears of death and growing up. I don't like country music, but Tim McGraw sings one called Just to See You Smile and I heard it on the radio. I'd never count the cost. It's worth all that's lost. Just to see you smile. Geez. Don't Give Up, Kate Bush and Peter Gabriel. Somebody Else, the 1975. Black Gives Way to Blue with Elton John on piano is pretty damn powerful. The song alone is really sad, but the piano in the background really adds to it. Alice in Chains, Nutshell. Gets me every time. Has for years. I wore out the Jar of Flies cassette. Rag and Bone Man's Lay My Body Down is also pretty emotional. Say Something by Great Big World. Sad Song, We the Kings. Everything I Own, Bread. When You Were Young, The Killers. Maybe morbid, but I know it's one of my wishes to have this played at my funeral. Unsteady Ex-Ambassadors. Edit. Thanks guys, much love, stay safe. If I Die Young, the band Perry. Hurt by Johnny Cash. Friend of a Friend by Foo Fighters. This song was written by Dave Grohl and it's about Kurt Cobain, before his souk. It's so sad to listen to Dave's words as he watched Kurt's behavior and how he was obviously struggling, but Dave and Chris didn't know back then. The line that always gets me teary-eyed is, he thinks he drinks too much, 'cause when he tells his two best friends, I think I drink too much, no one speaks. No one speaks. This song is just so emotional. Edit 1. Correction. Edit 2. The song was written before he died, so I edited it a bit. It's still so haunting to listen to, knowing what we know now about how much Kurt was struggling with mental illness. 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton. It reminds me of my brother, who is deceased. Every time I hear the song I think, it's true. I would walk 1,000 miles if I could just see you. Lateralis Tool. Gillian Welch, Orphan Girl. Concrete Blonde Doing. Everybody Knows. On 120 Minutes YouTube. BAXNCMV on 9Q. Future Days by Pearl Jam. I consider it my song with my so. My Immortal by Evanescence. Blue, Green Bird and Real Folk Blues from the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack. Used to listen to those when I feel like I needed to cry. Worked like a charm. The Night We Met by Lord Huron. Fire and Rain, James Taylor. It doesn't usually make me cry, but it hit me hard a day or two after we lost one of my favorite former students. Are You Happy by Bo Burnham. Although most of his songs are very silly, with exceptions like Art Is Dead, Can't Handle This, and We Think We Know You. This one just resonates with me. It's about making people feel joy when you can't find it. I feel like I've spent my whole 15 years of existence trying to make others feel happy when I haven't truly felt it myself. So yeah, it definitely made me cry. Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd. Goodbye My Lover by James Blunt and Unexpectedly, Casa by Natalia Lafourcade. Somebody to Love, Queen. Do You Realize by The Flaming Lips. The only song that's actually almost brought me to tears would be 10,000 Days, Part 2, Tool. I imagine it's even more emotional if you've lost your mother. Go Rest High on That Mountain, Vince Gill. Every single performance. Supermarket Flowers, Ed Sheeran. Me and my roomie both in silence as we listen, then just turn to each other misty-eyed and say, "Whoa bro." Digital Love, Daft Punk. The build-up is such a perfect sonic manifesting of love, and the payoff of that solo at the end. Oh, it's just too much. When I am ready, it makes my heart burst in happiness. How to Disappear Completely by Radiohead. No Name No. 5 by Elliott Smith. There's not an Elliott Smith song that hasn't made me cry at least one time. Somewhere Over the Rainbow, Israel. Is. Kamakavivole. Can't Help Falling in Love, especially in the wedding scene from Crazy Rich Asians. I Remember You from Adventure Time. Let It Be in the movie Across the Universe, Chills. All of Them, Lately. Mad World, Gary Jules. Michael Andrews.